I think we'll get started. So, I'll share my screen. Great. So yeah, so this is going to be about how to set up your own mining rig. So this is pretty much just a step-by-step guide. However, before you say this is of course not financial advice. So please don't sue us. Thank you. So yeah, before I get started, I'll post some some links that were mentioned in this slideshow in the general chat. So so yeah, those are those links that might be used for some future that you may be necessary if you're trying to follow along all the way. So yeah, so this will be, let's get started. So first, some important info about how exactly this works and what you need to know before you get started. So first, a preface is that this guide will be about how to use your PC's GPU to mine Ethereum. So this is not going to extend beyond other cryptos. It's not going to be how to use your GPU and CPU. So we will refer to other videos online or other sources to try to find that information if you're interested. But this is one of the more popular ways right now, and it's one of the easier ways to get started. So this is not going to have any fancy GPU stacking where you see in some warehouses they have 200 GPU stacked on top of each other, or some fancy expensive ASIC miners. So this is just going to be how to use your own PC, your gaming PC. But however, it's important to note that your GPU must have greater than 5 gigabytes of memory. So your normal computer probably won't be able to do this. So mining is definitely safe for your computer, so there's not going to be any viruses when you download mining software. There's always ways to undervolt your GPU to prevent it from damaging and overheating. However, if you want to get better performance, you're going to have to maybe sometimes compensate some of that. And there could be crashes on your when you're mining, so be sure to back up your important files. So these are pretty much just your important warning before you think about trying to mine. So yeah, so the big question, I think this was touched on last week, was how much can I actually make? So you can make anywhere around from 5 cents to $7.50 per day. So 5 cents is usually a GPU worth around 170 bucks. And then 7,500 is probably the top of the line NVIDIA GPUs. So this depends on your PC and your GPU specifics. So the first link that I posted in general is a Cryptex link about the best GPUs for mining. So you can look on there to see the best and which ones actually fit your that are maybe even in your PC, or you're looking to build your PC. Those are pretty much the ones you could be looking for. So Ethereum is the most profitable to mine with GPU from when this slideshow was created. So Bitcoin is the most profitable with ASIC, but you're probably not going to be any close to profitable trying to mine Bitcoin with GPUs. So some PC and GPU info. I'm not the biggest computer nerd, but you can use a PC you built yourself or a complete PC, a store-bought PC. But pretty much any PC is probably going to be good enough as long as you have enough GPU memory. So a good mining PC will cost you around $2,000-ish. So the most good GPUs inside these PCs are made by NVIDIA and AMD. These are pretty power efficient, so they're evolving and they're getting very close to being the best they can. However, make sure you have adequate power, and your area's electricity also is in line with your costs. So what are the upsides and downsides to personal mining or mining on your own PC? So upsides, if you bought recently your PC and it's been idle and you're not really using it, maybe you're gaming once in a while, you're not going to be gaming 24/7, right? So the other time, you can use it to pay back the cost of your PC. So that will take around 3 to 4 months. Or longer depending on how powerful your GPU and PC is. So it's also great passive income, right? You can be quite profitable. And with energy efficient cars and expensive electricity, you can be a pretty good investment. But some downsides are that it can consume a lot of power, and it may have to sit in your garage, and you'll hear it maybe quite loud every single time you walk in. So it also can be quite expensive and unprofitable in times where the rewards are getting lower and lower. Also, it wears out your GPU over time, especially if you're trying to overclock and try to get the most out of it. So these are some upsides and downsides. Cool, a step-by-step guide onto how this really works. And first, it's important disclaimer we usually do before these types of chapters with financials, actually money-based stuff, is this is not financial advice. These are our recommendations and are solely for educational purposes. So yeah, don't sue us. Thank you. Okay, so about getting a wallet. So popular wallets, Coinbase and MetaMask, because of some high fees. So you should avoid popular wallets like Coinbase and MetaMask because of some high fees. Every single time you transfer, it's around like $5 to $8. So pretty good beginner wallet, or some wallets that like wallets that maybe have as many fees are Exodus, because mostly when you're in the NFT market, MetaMask is one of the most friendly, especially in minting and OpenSea. But you can always choose between a hot or cold wallet. But in this case, we're using Exodus. So the second link in general is Exodus download. So this can be for usually your PC, and yeah. So about downloading mining software. So we can, if you're interested, actually, we'll actually send out this set of slides exactly. So it can be a step-by-step guide, and you're able to review this like later. So we recommend getting MB miner, and this may be controversial. You may not like this recommendation, so it's completely up to you. The steps are pretty much, you can find a step-by-step guide. But I think for us, we and our team members, we suggest MB miner. If you find any issues with the hash rate and some its statistics, please feel free to find another mining software that you think is the best. So scroll down and click on the newest Windows zip. Also, we don't recommend mining on a Mac PC, and I think that's a very important thing to stress. So if you have those super expensive Mac PCs, don't use it to mine. And also operating softwares, we suggest if you have a monitor hooked up to your PC, make sure it's running Windows so it doesn't have any other issues. So yeah, go to the zip file, hit extract all. So then next, and then we have you have to click on Start ETH and hit Edit, and then you open up a notepad file that says that's called Start ETH. So these are the important specifics that if you're gonna run it, these are really important. So there's gonna be a couple important things you have to change. So there's the pool, cn.sparkpool.com, blah blah blah. You have to change that. So that's about that's the pool you're mining from, and then that's your wallet address. You also have to change as well. So then this text edit file. So how do you set up really your miner? So we suggest going to Ethermine as your mining pool. Once again, this can be a different mining pool based on your own preferences. You click on the big orange button and you start mining. So then you copy the server which corresponds to you. You can pick any server, and paste it inside the in start_ETH where you see the / and where the colon is. So behind that, right, around there. So then you delete the one on the right side of the colon. So you see asia2.ethermine.org.14444. So but then you delete that one, so it's 4444. So running the program. So then you go to Exodus and hit receive to copy your wallet address to your clipboard. So then you can paste it in. So behind that you paste in your wallet address, and that will be where the rewards from mining will go to. So make sure this is right. You don't want to be sending the wrong stuff to the wrong address. So now you just run the program and you're pretty much set to start mining. So after you start mining, you can check on your profile. You can go to Ethermine, track your progress on your miner, and you should see something like that. You can see your workers active, unpaid balance, estimated earnings, etc., hash rate. So also make sure to also switch to Polygon to avoid fees when you're transferring. So yeah. And then so what's next? After you start mining, you're pretty pumped up. You like what's going on. You can make sure to check your daily income. Once again, this may depend. So the number you may see may be different depending on how high your electricity is. So per day you might see like maybe a couple maybe 10 to 20 cents or even higher taken away because of your electricity costs. So you can check your hash rate, pull statistics, rejected shares, and so your hash rate. I think we touched on this last time. Is how strong you're mining and how fast your GPU is guessing those nonces. So the higher the better, and depends on your GPU card. Your income is dependent on your hash rate. So the higher the hash rate, the more money, faster your GPU runs, the more money you make. So cards with more storage are typically going to perform better, and older cards do perform worse. So on cards like NVIDIA, they do have precautions called LHR. So then there's it's to prevent some damage on your GPU and other issues, especially when you're mining at the very high energy and high demand. So so LHR stands for light hash rate. So make sure you keep notice on that. So pool statistics. So your pool hash rate is the terahash is the combined hash rate of all miners using Ethermine. So active miners is the amount of PCs working right now, and workers amount of GPUs working. So so about this and about mining pools, I think we touched on this last time, is that it's pretty much the only way to be profitable running these types of larger networks is that you have to join a mining pool. So that's like for example, Ethermine, the mining pool, you can join it to be able to combine your GPU power in order to try to be the fastest person or be the fastest pool. Because as an individual right now, you don't have really stand a chance. So the best shot you have is joining a mining pool, and there's a lot of mining pools out there. So Ethermine isn't the only one. So rejected shares. So you're paid in shares, so a piece of a block. So if your settings are off or your ping is high, a share is rejected or invalid. So this means you're not paid as much, but your overclock settings can affect how much you're paid. So if you let's say overclocking is pretty much putting your GPU under high performance, so you can it performs at a higher level. So a downside is the potential GPU damage, because I think we mentioned before that if you want to avoid GPU damage, you definitely should avoid overclocking. If you overclock, you're likely going to damage your GPU pretty quickly. So an MSI afterburner is probably a good application. So that's a picture of it on the right. So you can turn down core clock, turn on memory clock, make sure not to go too high. So if you don't turn it way too high. Turn your fans up to make sure it's cool, voltage and power limited down. So yeah, if you do these, some of these steps, you can increase your revenue, especially if you're trying to get the most out of it. You're trying to, let's say, you're trying to mine as much as you can in a short amount of time. This is probably the way to go. But for a long term, probably shouldn't overclock. Cool. So now a review on what are some important things to take away. So what are the 3 downsides of GPU mining? So there's A, can consume a lot of power, B, can destroy CPU, or C, can overload the power supply, and D, can take up your memory. So it's all of them except for B, because you're mining GPU and not CPU. And so we stress that if you're trying to mine with your GPU as well as your CPU, the CPU is probably going to add maybe a 5% difference. So you're really not going to have too much of a difference when you're trying to mine CPU. So also if you're mining CPU alone, that's kind of worthless. So yeah, so if you want to make sure to make the process simplified, just go GPU. Cool. That was once again a more technical presentation on how exactly to mine Ethereum. So thank you all for listening. Feel free to contact FLIC for any feedback. So once again, if you're new here, FLIC is Future Leaders of Cryptocurrencies. We're a nonprofit, a 501c3 nonprofit focused on crypto education. So we're focusing on making sure that this type of information is clear, it's available, it's accessible, and everybody has the ability to get started in crypto, blockchain, DeFi if they're interested in. So yeah, if you're trying to get up a partnership and you want to use our slides, you can email us or just DM me on Discord. So yeah, follow our Instagram, join our Discord. So if you're interested and love our organization, that's a good way to start. So this is where we kind of open up the space for questions. So there's a lot of people here. I think this is one of the highest numbers I've seen so far. So thank you guys so much for coming. If you have any questions, feel free to shout it out, and yeah, I'll be able to answer it. If I can't, I apologize because I'm not the biggest mining nerd out there. So yeah, shout it out.
Well, I wanted to thank you. When I first saw the topic, I was a little concerned because I thought it was maybe Bitcoin mining, but I love the fact that it's Ethereum, it's more energy friendly, and it's more in line with the ethos of what we do here. I also wanted to just kind of administratively say I've been muting people right now. If you're here, please turn your microphone off because we can hear your Discord signals and we can hear you fluttering paper and stuff. So don't take it personally if you've been muted. We just couldn't hear.
Cool. Any other questions? Thank you so much for pointing that out. Okay, cool. This could be because this topic is pretty much it's kind of different. So last couple weeks, we're talking more on more theory based how exactly blockchain works. We're going to be a little bit more. This one was a little bit more robust, a little bit more step by step. So next week we're going to be talking about. We're going back to some of the more basics. We're going to go back to we're going back to talking about Ethereum, some important things about Ethereum. We're going to start from scratch and go from the basics of that. So yeah. Since I don't think there's any more questions, thank you guys all so much for coming. So yeah, thank you guys so much for that.
Okay. Hey, I do have a request.
Oh yeah, I should go ahead.
If you're going to be doing Ethereum next week, not to add more to your plate, but I would love to know about the progress being made to 2.0.
We will definitely touch on that. That's in our slides. So yeah,
awesome.
We're definitely gonna put a lot of heavy emphasis on that because I think you guys are all super good with Ethereum 1.0. Everyone knows about that. But I think the most big that's happening right now is the transfer into 2.0. So yeah, we're definitely gonna be touching on that.
Thank you.
Cool. Have a great day, guys.